West Virginia fans are crying conspiracy theory and everything surrounding the hiring of Coach DeVries. Do they have a case against us, or should we just all hate North Carolina together? And we will look at clips from an interview with Coach DeVries, one of the first interviews, and we'll talk about all that. Let's get into it.
Pretty simple. I win.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this Indiana Hoosiers community. So we have a great show for you today. We're going to get into talking about what the West Virginia fans are saying about this. Pat McAfee really pissed off. Hillbilly Monkey, when you first came into my life, I thought you were from West Virginia.
Oh, that's rich. Why, just because of how I talk like this? But you people, because you're from northern Indiana, you think all hillbillies going to talk like me?
Well, a little bit. You know, I didn't know. I
did not know.
Yeah. How did your picks turn out in the game?
Well, I mean, you were the one that picked against Drake because you're like, what's his nuts so much? Tamar Bates on Missouri, and you got that one dead wrong.
Yep. I was sourly mistaken. I like Tamar Bates. I wanted to root for him in that game, so I went that way, and Hillbilly Monkey had the Drake. Love the Drake. It was hard to root against the Drake. Everybody loves the Drake. We got a lot of stuff to get into on this episode, so enough messing around. If this is your first time here or you're returning thumbs up person, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you for joining me. This is Indiana Sports Connection across the country and across the globe, reaching Hoosier fans and places you've never even heard of. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's pump this video out to as many Hoosier fans as humanly possible. It helps the algorithm. You just want to pet the algorithm like a cat. Don't get too close. Don't do any big movements or anything like that. You just want to, you just like a squirrel. You wanted to take a nut. Hit that thumbs up button. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for being here. The video is brought to you by BetUS. Use my promo code Indiana125 to save 125% on your first 3 deposits, and 10% of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org. And then hit that bell notification so that I'm making more and more live videos. So hit that bell notification. You'll know every time I go live with a video, and you love to be here for it. You love to be in the comment section and leave your comments down below, because I love to hear from you. What do you think of Coach DeVries? What do you think of all these conspiracies? We're going to talk about it all on this episode. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. Hillbilly Monkey, well, we have had quite a week. And thank you for joining me if you were on the live stream yesterday. I got just gassed midway through the day, and now I know why. When I'm looking back at it, the day before when they did the coaching hire, it's like you're taking in all this information. I'm watching all these games. I'm watching stuff about this guy. I think I just had like brain overload, and then we were on live yesterday for like 4 hours, and after a few of the snacks that I was making, I hit that 3 o'clock wall, and but now I come back today well rested, and we got all these clips lined up of the coach. But first, before we get into the clips, West Virginia, they're throwing this conspiracy theory out there that is absolutely ridiculous. I feel sorry for them. Why can't we, as West Virginia and Indiana fans, just hate North Carolina together? Because they're kind of floating this out there that during the, not Maui Invitational, the trip to the Bahamas, that, Scott Dolson talked to him then, and they sealed the deal then, which is absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you, when a certain president of the United States, got his geschmoigedy, if you know what I mean, it only took that lady telling one person, and everybody knew about it. So it's the same way with stuff like this. Now, Dolson, I believe that he floated it out there to this guy through back channel talking and said, hey, would you have any interest in the job? You can have a friend. I don't know what the legal, precedent is on all that stuff, because you can have a friend of a friend say and float the idea out there, would you be interested in the Indiana job? And then, the deal was made later on. But as far as there being like a bunch of like sinister behind the scenes, bullshit that went on, I don't really think so. I think Scott Dolson is a pretty buttoned up dude. And I think Coach DeVries is a pretty buttoned up dude. And I don't think they really like conspiracized against West Virginia in that way. That's just my take on it. That being said, it sucks to be a West Virginia fan. You got screwed out of the tournament, and then your coach left right after that. So, look, I understand the emotional state that you're in right now because, yeah, that takes you on a roller coaster ride, and they're probably sitting there thinking, like, who can we even get here? It's going to be here long term, and it's a really tough place to coach. But let's get into talking about the clips that I got lined up because Coach DeVries did an interview on Big Ten Network, and I was watching that this morning. I thought, I got to share these clips because I know, like, all day yesterday I was watching the tournament and stuff like that, and then I was watching some of the tournament games this morning. Just the stuff this guy is saying, I know it's all just talk, and talk is talk, and you got to walk the walk if you want to be at Indiana University. But so far, we're just going to get into it. Hillbilly Monkey, find my phone. I don't know where my phone is. Wouldn't you know? It's right here. All right. So the first clip, little interview was on like one of the Indianapolis news stations. That's why I wanted to share it with everybody so we could really blast it out and see this everywhere because they just asked him about the fans and everything like that. And look, we want a coach that loves us fans as much as we love them and love the basketball. And they relate to us in a way that we can, kind of have like a good discourse between the two of us. But Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip of what he said about the fans. Roll it.
You have to have a fan base that's passionate. A home court advantage is so critical, in this game, especially in the Big Ten. And when you have a fan base that cares, you'd much rather have that every day of the week, and we certainly have that.
This job is not made for anybody. I mean, you got to be a special person to have this type of position, knowing how the fan base is, and just knowing the history. We got these banners right behind us. What is it about you that you believe that you're fit for this job here at IU?
Well, I think it's a great fit for me from a community standpoint. I can't wait to get integrated within the community, my family integrated in the community. And then more importantly, I just think the blue collar, the working, the way our teams are going to play, I think our fans are going to really embrace.
When you look at Indiana, and a lot of folks would say, the luxury of this job, you're going to have the backing from the administration, you're going to have the financial support when it comes to NIL. What does that do for you as a coach to know that those are things you really have to worry about, but really focus in on your coaching as well?
Yeah, I think the critical piece in that is like resources are awesome if you utilize them properly, and that's the number one thing we'll be thinking about and as we continue to put a roster together. And then after that, it's we got to be great at what matters in winning basketball, and those are the things that we'll from day one we'll put into our guys and instill in them, and the buy-in is always critical, and if they'll be willing to buy into those things, hopefully that means a lot of wins.
Yes, I love all this stuff. Like, he wants to be integrated in the community. That is like what you are at Indiana University. You're practically like the governor, the pope, the baker, the candlestick maker, and all of these things at the same time. And people really look up to you and want to look to you to guide this team. I definitely think this dude can outcoach the fans. I've looked at like a lot of his different games and everything like that. His teams play a lot of different styles. He's played some teams that really shot the ball quickly. He's had teams that use the defense a lot better. So you can look at like some of the times that he coached, and that's what you really wanted as a coach. A guy who, really puts the pieces together. And then look, you got to be able to think on the fly. You got to be able to think on the fly. I think that is like moist critical, if you know what I'm talking about. But then in this next clip, he talks about like why he took the job. And, he's not this bad guy because he was like somewhere one year. This is honestly like no matter what you do in life, like if you were working for some bunk, pharmaceutical company and you were offered the job to be like a high up executive at Eli Lilly, you're telling me you wouldn't take it? You wouldn't take double the money? I mean, you'd be stupid not to take the money. So I don't blame him for all that. And this is what he had to say about why he took the Indiana job. Hillbilly Monkey, roll that clip.
Yeah, I think when you think about Indiana, it's one of those dream jobs that, if you have the opportunity to be the head coach at Indiana University, you have to take it. And, I think, for me and my family, like it's a great fit for us as well, as was West Virginia. But this is one of those once in a lifetime opportunities to be the head coach here.
You spent your entire
That's right. Like, don't blame this dude for leaving West Virginia. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to coach Indiana basketball. That you got to look at it that way. I mean, this job is not going to come up whenever. I'm sure Dusty May is just a little bit jealous. I'm just saying. Yeah, you're happy at Michigan, but you know what? Somebody else is going to make their flowers here, and I think it's going to be DeVries. And then the next clip, I mean, this dude grew up like a real Big Ten lover. And to think about what it means, I mean, I know the Big 12 is big time, but this day and age, the SEC and the Big Ten have risen above like everybody else in college football and in college basketball. And then he talked about what it meant to coach in the Big Ten and why that's a dream of his. Roll that clip.
Stand the Big Ten, even if you haven't been a part of the Big Ten, obviously. Brothers who were Big Ten football players, and so none of this is new to you. But give me a sense of kind of your take on Big Ten basketball and what this region in this area of the country mean to you.
Yeah, great basketball league. Everybody knows that. Great conference overall. And you think about Big Ten basketball, it's big, it's physical, it's well coached. There's great players, and then it's just from top to bottom, just one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the country.
That's right. I mean, the Big Ten is one of the best leagues in the country. If it's not the best league, it's at the competition with the SEC to be the best in basketball and football every single year. And even beyond the SEC, the Big Ten has a lot more eyeballs on you when it comes to basketball than anywhere else. I mean, the TV ratings and the TV deals with the Big Ten, like a lot of people care about these rivalries between Michigan State, Illinois. Like, it's just all what the Big Ten is about. I mean, and basketball has always been one of the, like, more of a top sport even than it ever has been in the SEC. And we are at the center of basketball in Indiana, so we want that more than ever. What kind of players is he going to bring into Indiana in this next clip? He talks about like what he wants. It's all about, I'll let him say it instead of me. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip.
Yeah, I think you got to have a great locker room. The players that are going to come play for you, they got to want to be there for the right reasons. You got to, in today's era, with the portal, you got to make sure that you're building a team and not just a collection of individual players that don't fit well together. And that's our thing as we begin to assemble a staff and team is let's put together guys that complement each other, that they can play well together. They're self-motivated. They're hungry to not only get better as individuals, but hungry to succeed and play at the highest level.
Self-motivated and hungry. We would put that on a T-shirt and sell it. Self-motivated and hungry. I never even knew what being self-motivated was until I was like 31 years old. So, it takes some people more time than it takes others, but, just being a self-starter, being self-motivated, having it like deep in your soul. It's like, I want to do this, and have like those deep fundamental reasons why you want to do it. It's super important, not just for this, for everything you do in life. Then the next question he asked him is like, that's easy to say. Like, how do you do that with people? How do you find self-motivated individuals? And Hillbilly Monkey, let's see what the new coach had to say. Roll it.
In that shorter period of time and figure out what's motivating them.
Yeah, I think it always helps when you have relationships from your staff. Maybe they had recruited them previously, or they know their high school coach or club coach, whatever it may be, so that you already have kind of some built-in information. But then you got to do your homework, and in a short period of time, make as many connections as you can. Trust your gut and your instincts a little bit. After doing this for a long time, you get a pretty good feel for kids and what they're about and the type of questions they ask and how they interact with people. And those things all matter, I think, when you're trying to put a team together, is making sure that those things all align with what's important to you.
Yes. Like, this is what, I mean, I've been listening to stuff that Matt Painter says about how he does his recruiting and a lot of different people, especially over the last few years. And yes, do your homework. Go see, what did this guy do in high school? Did he have a lot of tardies? Did he show up to class on time? And then go back and ask the guy, why did you have 7 tardies? Why did you not show up to class? I mean, if you have a good reason, then you have a good reason. But in life, you always have to kind of like, people make mistakes, right? And if you're not able to, sit there and kind of like say, yeah, I made mistakes back then, but I've changed and I've grown now, and I'm trying to grow every day, then that's somebody you can get on your side. Somebody that's like, screw you, you're looking into my past. I don't really think that's what this is about. I'm here to shoot basketballs as a guy right out the door. Come on. Like, we've seen a lot of that, and it's been really hard to watch. And it's been really hard to watch some of these guys just slough around out there like they don't care whatsoever. And we haven't done this in the past. This makes me feel really good that he's saying this stuff. And then in this next clip, he says something that's very familiar to us because of the great Curt Cignetti says this all the time. But he was asking him a question about the coaches that he was under before and what he learned from them, what he learned stylistically from them. And then this is what he had to say. Let's roll it.
Yeah, they're both a little bit different in the way they go about it, what they stress maybe offensively or defensively. But I think just the way they show up every day and the way they treat their team and the way they approach practice from a consistent level of making sure you're never too high, never too low, and making sure you're always making progress as that season goes on. And I just love the way they both do it in their own unique styles. And I've taken what I could from them as much as possible and try to apply it to my own personality and the way we want to do things.
You touched on this a little.
And what he ended that off with, like, you cannot do something the exact same way that somebody else did it. Nobody can walk in, because Bill Belichick is just a huge gremlin, like that's why nobody can like go to another team, because they're not integrating their personality into the style. Like, that works for him, that works for Belichick, that worked for Knight, that worked for like another person I put on that level is the big tuna Bill Parcells. But if you're not that guy, if you're not that personality, it comes off as disingenuous. And when you come off as disingenuous to people, they don't really believe what you're saying. So taking, like, this is the soup that it takes to make a good college basketball coach. Watch a bunch of other guys do it, be able to take like little threads from them and then like bring that into your personality and then develop your own system because of it. That's what I think this guy has done. That's what he's doing. That's what he's going to do at Indiana. And that's why it has me so excited to watch it. And then the consistency of practice, never getting too high, never getting too low, always showing up every single day, kind of with the same attitude. Your attitude is the one thing you can control in this life. You can't control other people's attitudes. You can't control what other people think, but you can control yourself and what you think and what you want to do. You can always do that stuff. So, just a lot of great stuff coming out of his mouth. I mean, it really does get me fired up. And I sad we got to wait like 7-8 months to watch this guy play some games. And then this next question, he asked him about, where Indiana basketball's been, and with beyond like just, the 2002 year, 2012, 2016, if you want to toss that in there, like, has not been to the level that we all expect it to be at. And look, it's really hard. It's really hard to be a great coach, and it's really hard to have like great success doing something that more and more and more people want to do. Like, there weren't as many coaches out there doing the things that Bob Knight was doing when he came here, and the game has evolved, and we have kind of like not evolved with it. But I asked him that question here, and here's what he had to say. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip of Rooney.
Yeah, they're both a little bit different in the way they go about it, what they stress, maybe offensively or defensively. But I think just the way they show up every day and the way they treat their team and the way they approach practice from a consistent level of making sure you're never too high, never too low, and making sure you're always making progress as that season goes on. And I just love the way they both do it in their own unique styles. And I've taken what I could from them as much as possible and try to apply it to my own personality and in the way we want to do things.
Are you crying or laughing?
Maybe I'm just so happy. But Hillbilly Monkey, what do you think about just so far? We've had about a couple days to kind of absorb this, and we're watching games all day yesterday. What did you think about the coach, and what do you think it's going to be like next year?
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey land that's sold at Home Goods, it's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Oh man, I think the stuff like how he is very nervous is more based on the fact that he's more of a walk the walk guy than he is a talk the talk guy. So like when you put him out there in front of the camera, you put him out there in front of people, he's more like he's got to say this stuff out loud and say, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And you can tell he more just wants to get to work and get to being like comfortable. It's almost like, how many times have we moved? So like, when you move into a new house, you want to get everything where you want it to be. Yeah, and that way, you can get that like a couple weeks goes by and you start to feel that comfort level and all of that starts to grow. But he is a walk the walk guy, not a talk the talk guy. And I tell you what, that is all you can ever ask for when you're looking at a basketball coach like the one we have now.
That is a great point, because I do see like he seems like, and I've had people, pick up on this and say, yeah, he seems nervous in some of the press conferences, and he seemed a little bit nervous in that interview. That's good. He's not some narcissistic a-hole that feels like so comfortable, talking about himself and blowing smoke up his own ass every day. I think it's a great thing that he's a little bit nervous talking about himself, and that way he's not coming in going like, get on the plane if you want to talk to DeVries. You get on the plane and you come and talk to Coach DeVries, because I'm like, I already have this inflated ego. This dude, I think he's going to bring great joy to all of us at Indiana University. And not all of us at Indiana. I'm not at Indiana University. Why did I even say it? Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. But he's going to bring great joy to all of us fans that are sitting at home watching it through the TV screen. So I am giddy with excitement over just all of the stuff that I'm hearing from this guy so far. And I like his personality, and it seems like he's got a great family. He's going to bring his son in too, and he's going to have a great start. Just go and maybe try to give Braylon Mullins a ride to school, or, just sit by him in the lunchroom. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. Look, Hurley did it to us. It's only fair that we give it back to him. You know what I mean? He stole one of our players. He's down there in Florida, probably down there, feeding the meter just every single day. Who knows? But I would love to see it. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. And until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.